Hello everyone, Jammy here. Today we're talking about Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. I haven't really done a video on this at all since it was announced the other month, and I've really wanted to talk about it for quite a long time. And since E3 happened, we've got a massive burst of information, lots of new gameplay, pictures, pre-release stuff like that. So it's really a lot to talk about. I don't know how much detail I'll be able to go into, but for the time being, I'm just going to be talking through some pre-released images I have and interesting things that I have to say about them. So this is obviously the design for Mega Swampert. I hear this is probably one of the three I'm most fond of. We already had Mega Blaziken in X and Y, so I have a theory that might be getting a second form, an Omega and an Alpha perhaps form of its Mega evolution, like what happened with Charizard in the last game. Perhaps they'll do the same thing with Blaziken. But Mega Swampert's probably my favourite out of the three Megas, just because it just looks quite buff, it looks quite powerful. It's got the same typing, water and ground, as Swampert does, so it's a good typing. The only problem with that is the 4 times weakness to grass, but again, it's no longer affected by electric type moves, giving it basically 1 weakness, which is a really good in terms of using it competitively. The next image is just an image of Steven. A lot of people are saying that he's going to be the champion like he was in Ruby and Sapphire originally, but there's been some people who think that this is going to be more like Emerald, like what happened with Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and they made the remakes sort of just more like Pokemon Crystal and in terms of that. So I don't know whether Steven is going to be, but the fact that they've shown him off in quite a lot of pictures makes me think that he'll be the champion, and we'll be playing in a sort of Ruby Sapphire style game, and then maybe they'll come out with a third game. But that does beg the question whether Rayquaza will be available in this game, whether Sky Pillar will be there. What will happen in terms of that? Will Rayquaza not be in the game at all? That would be somewhat disappointing. But I have to wait and see. So here we have Mega Sceptile. Again, he gets a Dragon type. A Dragon typing. His ability actually stops him from being paralyzed, which is actually a really good ability for someone who's very quick, like Sceptile. He's always been quite a fast Pokemon. I imagine his Mega form will be no different. He, being the Dragon type as well, he gets a stab. He will be 4 times weak to ice, like so many Dragon types out there. Salamence probably, and Flygon, Garchomp, there's so many out there that's 4 times weak. It's just, it kills them every time. But it's a shame he didn't have an ability that perhaps countered the ice type weakness. This ability's not bad either. The fact that he can't be paralyzed means that he can't, be slowed down through that stat change, which is also quite good. He'll be good to use competitively in some aspects, at least. So another gameplay picture of Swampert in battle, looking pretty darn powerful. And this one, so it looks like the battle animation shows the whole tail section of Sceptile, Sceptile's whole tail, being sort of almost shot off during the animation for this attack, which actually looked quite cool. It's quite kind of interesting how the Pokemon designers can, have their unique attack, which they can, change almost changing how they look in battle, rather than just static how they were in the old games. It's interesting they've changed that. Then we had the big announcement, which came in the form of Mega Sableye. A really interesting Mega. He's going to be available probably pretty early on, actually, probably when you go to Dewford Island in the cave. That's probably, I think, the first place you can find something like a Sableye. I'm not too sure about. I think the fact that he got a weakness to Fairy in X and Y made him less used competitively due to how overpowered Fairy types were in X and Y. I think that's why he wasn't really used as much in those games. I'm not sure how Fairy will be incorporated into the new game, thinking about it, because not that there aren't that many Fairy types that came before X and Y. There's things like Jigglypuff, Azurill, which will probably be in the game. But other than that, there really aren't that many Fairy types. I'm not sure whether he'll be good to use competitively or not, how that will be integrated into the game, but a lot of people are speculating because he used to have red and blue gems on his back, and in this picture we can only see he's got red gems, that he will have an alternate form in Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby where he's red, he's got a giant Ruby, and he'll have a giant Sapphire in Alpha Sapphire. That would be an interesting, sometimes the small things that can just change up the game a little bit, make it a little bit more different. So here we have Team Magma leader. So they haven't really changed the design too much for him. A lot of people were saying that he just looks basically the same. I don't know. He looks Maxi doesn't really look too different in this image. He looks similar, but obviously they're doing the same 2D art that they do usually. For pre-released images, they're not showing the proper 3D models as of yet. Well, fully detailed 3D models at least. Here we have the new Primal form for Kyogre. Personally, I don't know how these Primal forms are going to play, but they're just going to be more like new forms like we had in Black and White 2 when we had the fusion. That sort of thing, in terms of new forms, like Giratina got his new form. Or whether it will be more like a Mega Evolution, where you go into battle and you use it straight away, and they de-evolve, as they're calling it, into their primal, primeval form. I'm not too sure about that. They haven't really. The thing is, they haven't really released too much information. It's all been in the form of footage so far. So and these little pre-release images. So that's not really been made 100% clear, but I assume it will be like a Mega Evolution. You go into battle and then you activate it once you're in battle, the same as you do with a Mega Evolution. Whether it will actually play out in the same way that Mega Evolutions do in terms of the ring, perhaps the Mega Ring is involved in this process, or whether it's completely separate process altogether. There's some sort of key item you need to do it. Again, this is all not 100% clear as of now, but I do have somewhat of a theory about this primal form. In one of the Mystery Dungeons games, in fact, there was a character or a version of Dialga called Primal Dialga, and I'm not sure if this is supposed to be the same type of primal, where they have energy or light. And Primal Dialga actually had like orange light, sort of, instead of blue light on him, covering his body. So it's the same sort of thing. I'm not sure whether Nintendo will even acknowledge this in the game, whether Primal Dialga will actually ever happen. Maybe if we get a Gen 4 remake, something like that could ever happen. I'm not entirely sure, but that would be a cool concept nonetheless. So here, Primal Groudon. Whereas Kyogre keeps his water, just mono water typing, Groudon actually becomes fire. I'm not sure this was the best move, because he's now 4 times weak to Kyogre. That's the thing about Nintendo. When they make a game, they always release 2. At least they tend to, and one of them always seems to be super weak to the other. Like Lugia always had the water advantage in Hydro Pump over Ho-Oh. You had this in X and Y with Xerneas being, very super effective against Dark, just obliterating it. And now we've got the 4 times weakness of Primal Groudon from Kyogre. So the fire typing at least gives him a stab in terms of things like Fire Blast, but his ability is supposed to be some sort of overpowered drought. Kyogre's ability hasn't actually been confirmed yet, but I heard people saying that his ability is just an overpowered drought, basically. Drought is just such a good ability anyway, there's no need to improve upon it, really. I mean, Drought and a Mega Charizard X is pretty much unstoppable, unless you got a Stone Edge on the opponent's side. Just coming in with something like a Solar Beam as well. Groudon. I think Groudon can learn. Yeah, Groudon learns Solar Beam anyway, so it's a good tactic to use nonetheless. Mega Diancie. This is probably one of the most unexpected leaks, because we haven't actually got Diancie at all. At least outside Japan, it hasn't been released. I think it got a special distribution in Japan over the movie or something. I'm not entirely sure, but we haven't actually got Diancie at all. And then suddenly they released Mega Diancie. It's like, oh. Okay, we weren't really expecting this to happen. The typing, I don't believe, changes. I think it's just Rock, Fairy. The ability of Diancie's original ability is just Clear Body. So whether that will change, again, not 100% clear as of now. But it's a really unexpected ability. Its appearance seems to change in the fact that it has like these ribbons and almost like a dress made out of diamonds around it. Other than that, there's not really a major appearance change. I imagine it will be more of a Perhaps it will be more of a special attacker. I don't know, the diamond side of it makes me think it might be defensive as well. But again, only time will tell. And finally, we have the last image, is just an image of Steven. And this is actually something that I wasn't too sure about, because in the background we've got what looks like Groudon. So I'm assuming this is an image from Omega Ruby in perhaps the cave. at the end of the game where you meet Groudon for the first time. I'm not sure if this is where this image is actually taken. At first I thought it was taken in Dewford Cave on the island, but then I thought, no, actually the picture of Groudon makes me think that it's where you catch Groudon at the end of the game. Yeah, that's what it looks like, at least as of now. But if you guys enjoyed this video and you have any more things you want me to talk about in terms of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, if there's any more gameplay clips that are released, I can always talk about them. But for now, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Boop.